All right. Good afternoon. Hey, Bosch. You can hang out too? All right. Hey, Bosch. Just 1 second. The dog wants his dog bed under a chair. It's not really a good spot for it, so maybe not. Alright. So this was sticking out to me here. Good afternoon, everybody. Took off for a little bit. Bosch, what are you doing? Alright, that one needs to go over there. Good afternoon. All right, let me get you a bed over here, Bosch. Excuse me, Bosch, move over. Move over. There you go. I know, we like to hang out under the feet. Hello, hello. Yeah, I went camping last week, and then I've been working on my little camper project the last few days, trying to finish that interior. I was actually going to work on it today, but I realized I needed some materials, so those are on order. And so I was like, hey, I could do some drawing, which I like to do anyway, so well, I can let's see, I did put some images on my iPad. If you go over to let me type that in here, Xterra Vich on Instagram. If you go over there, you can see everything. Man, and I hate how all these apps try to be more convenient. So I'm just going to Google Drive to grab a few images. And it's like, here's everything. But let's see, where's a good exterior shot? So that's the camper. So it's built into a 2006 Xterra. So it's inside of this. And that's the inside right there. So there's a cot-sized bed right there. Inside of here is a fridge, freezer. There's a sink, fold-down table, closet, power system over here on the right. You can pull that off. So, water level, inverter power, fan on the ceiling. It's like a whole van life thing. Yeah, so I built it. I started it 2-ish years ago, I guess it was, and I did an initial build that was rough. It was everything's kind of where it was at, and then last summer I jumped into doing all this like finished woodwork. So you've got like really nice hardwood countertops and faces, like you see up here. Fabric covered things. It was much rougher before, but last summer I started the finished build before moving here to Virginia. And in fact, let me put it up where I can show the other people too. And then I've been mostly focused on teaching and working on some skill level up stuff and portfolio pieces and all of that since then. And then went on a little camping trip, was looking at some of the stuff and said, hey, I'll sit down and if I take like I think I probably finish everything if I take like 2 weeks and just really kind of knuckle down. And because there's only so many things left to do. Like I need to redo this piece that's up here. I don't know if you can see it. Inside of here, there's like a curtain hanger and another ceiling panel, and those need to be done up in a more finished way. A few sewing projects, which is what I was going to do today, and I realized I didn't have the right sized magnets. But yeah, so I went camping, did some landscape painting and all of that with the dog for 4 or 5 days last week. So I started working on this, and then the next day I went camping. And so I haven't been back here to look at this since then. And then I've been doing some maintenance things on the truck in terms of like mechanics. So I did that the other day. I was going to do one more today, and then waiting for something. Yeah, so go outside, go landscape painting. If you go over, actually I don't think I posted anything over here, but yeah, there's enough room in here where I can bring all of my painting and sketching stuff in here. And the idea behind it was to be able to like park and camp in one location for say 10 to 14 days at a stretch if I want to. So like this is out in the deserts in Utah. So you can see the mountains over here in the desert down there. It's a little different than it is out here where it's green. And so there's a 12-gallon water tank underneath there. Under this floor there's actually a storage area, and I use that as a shower. And so I have a curtain I can hang from the ceiling so I don't spray water everywhere inside, and I take a shower inside. And it's also long enough. Yeah, it's a secondary account. Actually, I have several Instagram accounts. So I have one for my dog, for example. And then I have one for like fine art, painting, and drawing. So like landscape paintings and that, they would show up on the one that's like Peter Sakovich, which is my regular name. This one is more for illustration and concept art and that kind of thing. I have one that's like for teaching notes, and for my teaching website, which I haven't used as much lately, which I should, but I haven't. And then I started one for like house plants and things that I have, but I haven't really used that one in a while as much. But this is from the recent trip. So I was up here camping up in it's called the George Washington National Forest, and just spent 4 days out there hanging out, painting and hiking, and all of that. So, but I've been putting together a list of things I need to do to finish off the inside of it, and then it'll be all the way done. And so I take like the next week or so to really focus on that. It'll be less of a distraction because it's kind of been the thing that's been on my mind for a few years now. It's a pretty intense project. I sewed these curtains up here that become these right there. I sewed up the cushions that make up the bed parts. I did all the woodworking, all the electrical, all the plumbing. Yeah, so yeah, I have like I said, a few different Instagram accounts, and so that way they're all more focused. It's like, if I was doing, say, fine art, painting, and concept art, and you put them all on the same portfolio site, that'd just be kind of a mess. And so if you kind of go through and separate things out, it makes it easier for people to know what you're working on. Because I could just put this up there and be just kind of random images on my page. But if it's in a space where I can do that, plus the other thing it lets me do is, like, the accounts that I'm following on those other accounts are based off of that information. So, like on this account here for Xterovich, I'm following things like Z1 Off-Road, which is a company that makes mostly for Nissan secondary market stuff. So like suspensions and engine components and things that you can do to upgrade the engine and the vehicle in general that they sell over there. The lights that you would say put on the front of it that are brighter. Or there's a company called All Dog Off-Roads that I like. I follow them over there, and that's where I did my suspension. Well, like I said, I have one. It's the one I typed in here, which was at Xterovich. So that's the account right here for this project. Again, this has been like one of the reasons I haven't posted as much on Instagram in the last few years, or a couple of years anyways, because of this. So like last summer I was working on this for I think 6 weeks straight. And that was all I was doing. The summer before that I worked on this for 11 weeks straight. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so it's at Xterovich. That's the name of the account for this. So Xterra is the name of the vehicle. It's a Nissan Xterra. And I just kind of stuck the Vich on the end of it because, my last name. So it kind of worked. So yeah, but again, it's a cot-sized bed, so it's not very big. It's just big enough for me to lay out there. My dog, he's small enough that he likes to curl up behind my legs, even though he has his own spot, which is right where my finger's pointing. But he still prefers to pull up behind my legs after we settle in. And this passenger seat has to be pushed forward pretty far for this to lay out flat. The front part here actually turns into a couch, which I don't use all that often, but it's nice to have it available and makes it easy to access stuff that's on the floor underneath that area right there. And then I keep like kitchen stuff up in here, food, and have an induction cooktop for cooking. Well, my main job actually is I'm a teacher. So I teach at Virginia Commonwealth University here in Richmond. I can put that away now. But I teach at Virginia Commonwealth University and teach concept design. So I'm a professor of concept design. It's kind of a fun gig to get. So that's my main day job, is that. But I have lots of time for things like, hey, look, there's Ringling Entertainment Design. But I have lots of time for things like, freelancing, or this project, right? The Xterra project, which again has been a big part of what I've been doing. And then this right here, this is I've decided I want to really kind of. A lot of my students are really into drawing comics and just manga or comics in general. And I've been working on this concept project on my own for my own portfolio. And as kind of part of working on it, I've been thinking, hey, wouldn't it be great to do a comic book based off of it? And this is not that. So this is a kind of a test project I put together after doing a ton of studying and practice over the last year. And so this is actually the opening scenes from the Blade Runner script. So if you've seen the original Blade Runner, you know there's the what's his face? What's the two characters here? Leon. I wanted to say Elon, but Leon. And Leon's one of these replicants, and he's coming in. This guy is a cop. This is the replicant, and he's testing to find out if this guy's a replicant or not, because this guy's not supposed to be on Earth. It's the opening scene from the movie. It's pretty famous. It's pretty well known. But these characters, they don't look like the characters in the scene. I'm basing it off the script and using this to practice some storytelling in a simple way. So that's what this is for. I think it's 5 pages long. No, it's a little bit longer than that. Let's see, what do we got here? So here's the roughs. Yes, it's longer than that. It's like 6 or 7 pages. I forgot. So here's like opening page. So there's Tyrell Corporation. We're kind of the script goes through and talks about how you kind of see the big scene and you're zooming in. Triangles are my thing, and then this is the next page right here. So this is the device that's being used to measure. I'm trying to do some visual storytelling. So this is like the person doing the checking kind of being reflected. You can see his eyes reflected over the screen. The guy sits down. And then this is the page I'm working on to start with. And then there's the next page. And these are all done on like A4, 8.5 by 11 sheets. And then there's the last pages right here. So Leon didn't respond well to the questions. But I started with the third page. So I thought, I'd do a number of these, find some TV or movie scripts where I know there's some really good scenes that have been written really well, and work on my visual storytelling, which will then help me with the actual script that I'm writing for myself, and then maybe do a Kickstarter down the line. But I figured it was going to be a long-term project, so I was doing a bunch of stuff to practice throughout this year that I'm still doing in the mornings. Yeah, well, I'm doing starting with the third page. I'll do all of these pages I just showed. This one, I could see this one more easily in my head, so I thought I would start with this one and then kind of go back and forth. In fact, as part of the concept project, one of the things I'm doing is I'm actually taking the room they're in, and I've built it in 3D. I'm not going to be tracing it or anything like that, but I'm building kind of as a concept piece as well alongside other things I've been doing. So like I built the pyramid, and then I kind of took that piece and then separated this piece off, and then separated this piece off, which is this part right here, and then I've been building this room. It's simple. The main thing is just trying to play with the angles. But I'm not going to put any 3D in there. It's just kind of a reference piece. I might take some screenshots to look at. But I always feel weird, like you can always tell when a comic is using 3D stuff. It always feels wrong or off because it doesn't match typically the style of the artist. And so it doesn't match very well usually. It can be interesting, as a little thing to do, but it's not really how I want to work it. But again, I've been doing a lot of things this year, so trying to get more into 3D concept art as a part of my practice. I've been doing a ton of that, and so it's just because I know what this room looks like. I thought it'd be kind of an interesting thing to do, as well as doing the comic would be to do some of the concepting for it in 3D to have as reference sources to look at. Plus I like doing perspective, so I don't want to get in the way of that. In fact, part of what I want to do too is I want to get back into doing more of those perspective demos to help with the whole teaching website that I have going on. But yeah, so that's what we got going on here. Thirsty. So, going on touching up these drawings. Oh, appreciate that. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just trying to expand things. Part of it is, I've been teaching. Last school I was at, I was teaching mostly first year, well, almost entirely first year students. A little bit more than that, but not quite stuff I'm as experienced in. And here I'm teaching, juniors, probably sophomores, and seniors more. And so I wanted to kind of take a look at, where things are related to, the visual development, commercial markets are, and just update some of my portfolio and skills so I can help out my students. Well, my portfolio, part of my job is being a, so I have the specific, most schools I've been at, like I taught with SCAD and Ringling, a number of other universities, and usually they're called teaching positions, where all they really care about is you showing up to class and teaching. Which is, most university jobs, that's what the teaching jobs are like. So if you're a professor, you're probably just only a teaching professor, not just one, but only. That's your kind of main responsibility. And the job here is a little bit different. So I'm actually a tenure track, so TENURE, tenure track, which means that after a certain amount of time, if I maintain certain kinds of standards, then they'll change my contract. So basically, it's almost impossible to fire me, which is kind of what people think of when they think of a professor, right? You have tenure, and that means you have this position where you have academic freedom to do what you want, that the organization can't get rid of you without some very, very extreme efforts. So like shutting down your entire department or something like that, something very, very extreme. They have to fire everybody because of you. And then the other part of it is a research position. And so research primarily in concept art would then be working professionally or commercially in some way. So for example, working with a video game company. Yes, they're pretty picky about who they put in those spots, which I guess is nice to know, unless of course they just couldn't find anybody else. Because concept art's pretty specific, and not a lot of people have like a master's degree in that area or at all who have done that. It's like my master's degree is in painting, but maybe get somebody with an illustration master's or something like that. I don't think the master should matter that much, but universities care about it, even if I don't as much. And then, but anyway, so part of it's the research, and that's a big component of the consideration for tenure. Tenure doesn't happen for another about 5 years. So in 4 years, I'll put in all the documentation and information that will then be used to decide whether or not I'll be granted tenure at the university. And so as part of that, again, is the research part. And so research in my area is professional activity. So that could be, again, working for like working on movies or video games or all those kind of things. Or and one of the things I could do, which I would like to do, which is part of the reason I've also been working so hard on some of these different areas, is I would love to be able to do like a Kickstarter where I'm selling, say, a graphic novel based around that concept project, along with maybe some kind of art book or sketchbook to go with it. So that kind of publication would also count. So that's kind of what I would like to do. I think I should probably also pursue some projects as well, though that's gotten a little bit more interesting with all the AI nonsense going on. I don't know what impact that's going to have yet. So I know a lot of people are really nervous about it. We'll see. I still think it remains to be seen what that's actually going to mean for people. Because a lot of times when these new kind of tech things come in, they promise a whole lot, and it turns out to not be at all what they thought it was going to be. And I've been teaching for a long time, so I've done a bunch of different schools. I've lived in Hong Kong. I taught with SCAD there for a number of years. I actually started teaching in 2004. But a lot of it's been what they call part-time or adjunct teaching, where you have like 1 or 2 classes at a school, and it pays a few $1,000s for the semester, and you don't get any privileges or anything. Well, well, the thing is, game design, like I said, I'm interested in working with game projects, but like making a game itself is a huge project. Like, it's not, it requires understanding of programming, and game design itself is its own whole other thing. And so things like programming and a lot of the technical specifications and all of that's very, very complicated, and it's well outside of my. I'd have to spend several years figuring that out. Like, that would take a long time, and I'd have to have like something I'm very specific about doing, and I'd rather do something with storytelling and visuals and things that I understand, I think, fairly well. Let's see, how it goes up. It should be up higher. Like drawing and storytelling, which comparatively is something I have a lot more experience with and is more doable. Whereas you can spend, I had a friend who did a video game all by himself, and he spent, I think, 5 years on it, and it didn't hardly sell at all. It's it's a fun little game, but it didn't sell. Nobody really cared about it. I can see being part of a larger project, so that's where the concept art end kind of comes in. But that's much better. This needs to kind of go up and over. So that's why. Doing a game is no small task. Like, it's a big deal. Even a bad game is a lot of work. And you look at a game that came out a few years ago, that Anthem game, right? They'd spent, I think, 6 or 7 years developing that. I mean, that's a big game. You know, if you think smaller is easier too. That's right. No request to go live. Thank you. Turn off request to go live. There we go. And there's clearly a lot of love put into the visuals of the game, a lot of attention to detail, and it was just a train wreck on launch. And I feel bad for those guys. Like a lot of developers and that, they all worked really, really hard. I doubt it was necessarily their fault, but it's probably the fault of people above them making decisions on the kind of game it should be and how it gets marketed and all those more difficult questions. So yeah, I'd rather do a book of some kind. Well, those waves of work, a lot of times I was doing like a monthly challenge. So like there was March of Robots or Inktober. And that's what's kind of driving those. But yeah, I do like to work by project rather than randomly. Another thing like you might notice too is like I don't really do fan art at all. Like I don't think there's anything wrong with it per se. I just don't do it. So yeah, so I've often done those. I just haven't done those lately. No, I don't think so. I did get contacted about somebody wanting to commission me to do one. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it's fine if someone wants to use something I've done already for that. But I've never done any tattoos. Seems like that's a whole very specific area of design too, like rather than just random stuff. Well, a lot of people do it. It's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's like I don't do animation, right? I'm not an animator. I know it's not something I think about. I'm not a typographer or a graphic designer or any of these other things. I like to draw. I like to paint. I like to tell stories. I like to design. How things work. So, yeah, tattooing's very popular. I had a couple of friends a number of years ago, and they were kind of these classically trained painters. Like they, went to these really intense schools where they spent, dozens and dozens of hours on single drawings, maybe 100 hours on a single painting. Simple paint too, like just a figure standing there in the dark. And they had a really hard time once they were done, like getting their paintings to sell. Like they felt like they should be selling, and they just didn't. And there's probably different reasons for that. First off, it's a really small market as it is. But they kind of got frustrated after a couple of years, and they quit. Not entirely quit, but they stopped focusing on the painting part, and went and became tattooists. They spent 2 years in Portland studying with the people that do like the super crazy detailed photorealistic tattoos. And you might want to tattoo one on your leg. Oh, they can do that too. But they spent 2 years doing that, and now they do really, really well financially. Like, it was a good move for them money wise. They're up in British Columbia, I think Vancouver, near Vancouver somewhere. So, but it's definitely a legit thing people do. Alright, I think those two are done. I'm kind of warm back into this by touching this up. Some things I noticed when I came back from my trip. I think we'll jump down here next. Let's see. There's a super zoomed in view over on YouTube. Let's see, up and down. There we go. So I roughed these out. One of the things I see is like this is printed out blue here. These are the original roughs. And I took it into Photoshop and then kind of moved a bunch of stuff around, make sure it kind of lined up a little bit better. Because I haven't really done this before, so this is me kind of figuring out how to make everything work properly. So let's see, what's he say here? He's asking him about where he's staying at the hotel. So here's the script. Let's see, where's page 1? There's page 1. Don't move. What one? There we go, that's the proper order. So he asks him here. So that's his address. He states it to them. Oh, that's the hotel. So where I live. And he says, nice place. And he says, yeah, I guess, sure. He gives the patronizing smile, warming you up, that's all. And then we go to the next page. Alright, so that's here through there. You're okay, Bosh. Sorry about that, guys. Uh-oh. That's the hotel. So I was going to say where I live. And he says over here, nice place. test. I want to do hand lettering on this too as a way of kind of doing my self-education. So I've got the script here. I'll make sure I kind of get that written out. Warming you up. That's all. Yeah, so I even picked up one of these things. That's an Ames lettering guide, and it allows you to kind of draw out the lines so you can space out things properly. I'll take a look. Hey, puppy. I'm trying to make these guys, make sure everybody looks consistent too. I should have done like a little character sketches or something, but I'm going to use these as my reference, I guess. I think I might have made Leon look a little bit like me. Draw his ear. Yeah, part of this project too is I wanted to improve my character stuff because I mostly focus on like creatures and environments, which are great. But I've never really put a lot of time into character design and characterization and expression and all that. There we go. Need this. Anybody hop over to the YouTube or Twitch side of things today? What are we crying about, Bosch? Do you want to look out the window? Let me get that door for you so you can look out the window. Okay, is that better? Or you don't know? And the dog was feeling a little bit sick the other day. Well, I gave him a treat, and apparently it was not the kind he should have. So he had a tummy ache for a day. Kept me up all night. Putting my eraser down in the wrong spot. Where's my eraser? Oh, it's way over there. Why? I don't know. Alright, what do we got going on back there? Some boxes, looks like. just a little bit. I'll go with that one instead. I'll move that up. Now let's see, where's my post-it notes? Horizon line right there. throwing stuff on the floor. I know. It's rude. I need to figure out my desk here a little bit better. Good afternoon. Not you, you're too big. There we go. Alright, I think I'll run off and get some more lemonade. So, be right back. Just let me know if there's any questions. I don't mind talking while working. Just you know, the way people kind of come and go, it can be a little bit of a challenge. Since, you know, I don't know who I'm talking to necessarily. $3:30, alright, so another hour and a half before I gotta take the dog out for his W. Got my lemonade. So. Pencil. I need to train you to pick up my pencils for me. Oh, gosh. You say you're not doing that? No. Doesn't pay well enough? Come on. That's the way the dog rolls. Like, I'm not picking your stuff off the floor. Yeah, Bosch, what do you think? Let's get these guys divided up. Let's see. I'm gonna drop one here. There. the midpoint on these two. Good afternoon. There we go. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. What are you doing, Bosch? Make it wider. too big. What's up, Pup? Why don't you go get a drink? Dog's over here saying, it's hot in here. Go get a drink. Oh, there it is. Go get some water. Dog is sitting here panting. And I'm like, go get some water. 1 second. Come get some water, Bosch. There's water in here. You're clearly very thirsty. Some water. Get some water, Bosch. Some water. Get some water. You want to go lay down? Outside? Can you go outside? What the hell the tucked tail is? What's going on? You're not feeling good today? Hello, I'm back. Been dealing with a dog problem. the last couple days. He's doing much better, but I gave him a treat, I guess, that didn't do well with his stomach, and so he's been feeling much better, but we need to get outside for a minute. Alright, looking forward to trying this thing out. I can find it. Not you. Let's try this out. Lay down, Bosch. Come lay down, Bosch. Hello, how are we doing? throwing stuff on the floor, huh, Bosch? Ugh, there we go. There's another thing on the floor. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, buddy. Alright, what time is it? 41 hours, 20 more minutes, and then I gotta... Alright, where's that script at? Nice place, question mark, huh? Is that? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are we doing on time? 10 minutes, huh? Alright, let's see if we can't get this set up. Yeah, it's up at the desk's actually up at an angle, and I did that on purpose. So I bought a sheet of metal that's magnetic. So I went down to the hardware store. I think in Europe you often call them DIY stores. But it's like here we have two major ones, which is Lowe's and Home Depot. You probably see them in movies. And anyway, so I bought a piece of metal. It's over here. It's underneath this pad. And that way the desk is actually at an angle, so it's actually up like this. And that way I can set stuff down. I could put like say one magnet there, and if I need to rotate it when I'm drawing, I can do that without it falling off. I'd like to get a larger sheet. Like this one wasn't too expensive. It takes up, I don't know, about a third of the desk. It was $25, I think. And so I like to see if I can't source one that would like cover the whole desk, which would be nice. But and so yeah, it makes working with a little bit easier. I took off the last week or so. I was went camping, and then I've been working on my SUV camper a bunch. I was actually going to be working on that today, and then I realized I needed some stuff and I didn't have it, so I opted to come on and draw. I was hoping to come on in the evenings too. I've just been kind of tired out after working on it. It needs to be further off. So yeah, I took off. Just trying to get this vanishing point, so it looks like it has to go further out. I should just put some paper down here so I can stretch those out a little bit more. Yeah, so yeah, and I found the table actually is relatively inexpensive. And I found it on like Facebook Marketplace or something locally. So it's really big. It's like 2 meters long and a little over a meter deep. And I spent it was $100, and a new one is like $1,000 or something. So it was a good find. My massive ruler that I stole from my last university. They didn't want it, so I've got this huge ruler. It's like gigantic. Scoot forward. Yeah, so it was an idea I had as soon as I got this was to try that out. That paper doesn't want to stick. Let's see, I don't see any tape. Let's get the other finishing point set up. I better stop throwing my stuff on the floor. Need more of these setups here. And I could use some tape or something. Six and Gotta bring some tape up here. Alright, 5 o'clock. Alright, so that's a good spot to stop, I think, for now. So thanks everybody that came in, and we'll catch you later. I'm gonna get some dinner and walk the dog.